In the morning, in a class of 50 minutes, I could teach only for hardly 26-27 minutes for rest of time. Yeah, so last lecture, this algorithm we were discussing, screen is visible or not?
Yes, it is visible.
So this, we said that it has two parts. First is the merge sort algorithm. So this algorithm's name is merge sort. So first is calling merge sort algorithm, dividing the array into two subarrays, low to mid and mid plus 1 to high, and passing again those values. Why are we doing this one? We are calling the function algorithm merge sort by passing the values low to mid and mid plus 1 to high. Why are we doing it? This is for what purpose?
For recursive calling, sir.
So if we call recursive using this approach, then what will happen?
First, it will call for the first half, that is from low to mid, and for second, it will call for second half, that is mid plus 1
so
to
it
half.
Means dividing the array into two subarrays.
Yes.
Further dividing the array into another two subarrays. It means dividing the array into two subarrays, and this division we will stop if each array has how many elements? If each array has only one element, then this division will stop. Then you will come to this step. And this step, what are we doing in this step here? Now we are calling another function. You see this one. This is another function. What's name of this function? This function का नाम क्या है? What's name of this function?
Merge.
This is merge function. And to this merge function, we have to pass three things. Three values we need to pass. We are passing low, we are passing mid, and we are passing high. And initially, please remember, initially low is how much? Initially low is 0. High is n-1, and mid we have calculated here. Mid is equal to low plus high by 2. So please remember these three things we are passing to the algorithm: low, mid, and high. Low, mid, and high. And you see the two arrays that you are going to merge. The two arrays are the first, you see the original array is this one. Low to n-1 means 0, low to high means 0 to n-1. And this array, we are dividing it into two subarrays. So first array is this one, A low to mid. Means A0 to A mid. This will be your first array. And your second array is from A mid plus 1 to high. This is your second array. A mid plus 1 to high. And what we need to do these two arrays? What we need to do with these two arrays? क्या करना है हमको?
Merge, sir.
Shivam, Shivpriya, we need to merge these two arrays. We need to merge these two arrays. And after merging, the result will be stored in array B. So you have two subarrays. One is from A 0 to A mid, and second array is from A mid plus 1 to A n-1. Or second array you can say A mid plus 1 to high. And now initially what happens? We have variables. First variable is h, it is assigned to low, low is 0. Second variable is I, it is assigned to low. And the third variable is j, it is assigned to mid plus 1. So h variable, it is related to the first array. I variable, it is related to the third array. And j variable, it is related to the second array. Just remember, h is related to first array, low. This I is related to third array and j is related to fourth array. Now we are having condition. This condition, it is h remember, it is 0. Means this condition's meaning is if a0 is less than or equal to aj, j is representing mid plus 1. If a0 is less than or equal to a of mid plus 1. Remember, second array is starting from a mid plus 1. First array is starting from a0 to a mid. Second array is starting from a mid plus 1 and it is going up to a n minus 1, where high value of high is and h is n minus high is n minus 1. So first condition is if a0 is less than a mid minus 1, then a0, this is a0. If a0 is less than a of mid plus 1, then which one will you store in array B? A0 you store in B. And when you stored A0 in B, then increasing h by 1 means initially h was pointing to 0. Now h will point to 1. When h will point to 1, AH will be A1. And I also you increased by 1. When I is increased by 1, it means it will point to 1 and then you will store, then we will talk about B1. AH, so this will now next element will be stored in P1. So first condition is if A0 is less than or equal to A mid plus 1, then increase h by 1, store AH in BI, increase h by 1, increase I by 1. And this is second condition. Either you write else part, it's up to you. Either you write this else part, or you can write this. You can write this second if condition. You can write either here if AH is greater than AJ. If AH is greater than AJ. In that situation, if AH is greater than AJ, it means that AJ is smaller. If AH is greater than AJ, it means that AJ is smaller. And in that situation, if AJ is smaller, then you store AJ in BI. Store AJ in B0, B1, B2, B3, B4. Where, what is array B? What is array B here?
So the resultant.
Yes, Raj, what is array B? What is array B? Yes, Raj.
Yes, sir.
What is array B?
Sir,
array B
it is a matrix. Yes, sir, matrix sir, जिसमें second value हम लोग store करेंगे.
Second value or after merging the result is stored?
Sir, after merging, sir, we stored everything.
Yeah, so yeah, now you are correct. So this time you see in the first case, AH was smaller. When AH was smaller, so AH you were storing in B0, B1, B2, B3. And you are increasing the value of H by 1. In the second case, we said that if AH is greater than AJ. So in the second case, yes, Raj, which one is smaller? AH is smaller or AJ is smaller?
Sir, AJ is smaller.
So when AJ is smaller, whichever is smaller, then you store AJ in B0, AJ in B1. And when you store AJ in B0, then you increase J by 1. And you increase I by 1 so that you could point to the next element in the array. These two conditions are clear or not? First condition is AH, I am putting circle here, AH is smaller. Since AH is smaller, so you are storing AH in B0, B1, B2, B3. In second case, AJ is smaller. When AJ is smaller, you are storing AJ in B0, AJ in B1, AJ in B2, AJ in B3. And after that, you are increasing the value of J by 1 and you are increasing the value of I by 1. This while loop, this condition is clear to everyone? These two conditions.
Yes, sir.
And these are the part of while loop. While this condition is true, means H is less than equal to mid. H is starting from 0 and you are going up to mid. And J is starting from mid plus 1. J is starting from mid plus 1. And you are comparing till J becomes high. So these two conditions you are checking, and either you are storing AH in B0 or you are storing AJ in B0. And every time the value of I is increased by 1. So B0, then B1, then B2. When you are here, so either when you are here at this stage, so two situations may occur. कोई बता सकता है कि what will be those two situations when you are outside the while loop, when you are here? What different situations may have occurred? Can any one of you tell?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Has Govind ji बताइए क्या होगा? What will happen? What two conditions will occur?
सर या तो फर्स्ट हाफ का कोई एलिमेंट बच जाएगा बी में कॉपी होने से, या तो सेकंड हाफ का.
Yeah, so either few elements of A0 to A mid will be left, or few elements of A mid plus 1 to A high will be left. One of these two conditions will occur. Either few elements from A0 to A mid, they are still uncopied, they are still not pasted in array B, or few elements of A mid plus 1 to A high, they are still left. Now here we have, I am showing you the screen, Which condition is representing what? If H is less than mid, if H is greater than mid, then whose elements are copied and whose are left? जोर से बोलिए. If H is greater than mid, then whose elements are copied and whose are left? First array elements are copied or second elements are copied?
Sir, second element, second half element.
Second half elements are copied and first half elements are left. थोड़ा जोर से बोलिए.
Sir, second half का remaining elements.
So yeah, he is right. So the first condition, if H is greater than mid, remember AH was representing, H was 0, AH was representing A0. I said that first array, it is starting from A0 and it is going up to A mid. So this first condition, it ensures that if this condition is true, it means that all the elements from A0 to A mid, they are copied in B. They are placed at appropriate position, right position in array B. And left elements are from A mid plus 1 to A high. And remember, second array elements we were storing in J. first array elements, we were representing them by H. A0 was AH. Then H we were increasing. Second element, first element, B mid plus 1 was stored in BJ. So it means that this statement shows that you copy the remaining elements of second array which are uncopied, and these elements may be from A mid plus 1 to A high, whichever elements are left. Those elements you copy by using this for loop. For k equals to j, k less than equal to high, k plus plus, and you copy this one. And what this second condition is saying, if I say that if j is greater than high, what does it mean? If h is greater than mid, we said that first element copied, first array all elements copied. Second array elements, few elements are left. Now you are copying them. And second condition is if j is greater than high, then whose elements are still to be copied? Neha,
So the second array which is left.
so the second condition, if j is greater than high, whose elements are copied and whose are to be copied?
So the first one.
First one what? First one is copied?
Yes, sir.
And second array is to be copied. You want to say this thing?
Yes, sir.
कोई और बता ले? Aman Verma, आप बताइए.
So,
the second condition is if j is greater than mid. This lecture note I will share with you. If j is greater than mid, you have two arrays, first array and second array. So which array elements are copied and which are still left? बहुत बड़ा question है.
sir, first half element, sir.
First half elements are copied and second half elements are left.
Sir, if first half element is left, then it will be copied.
कहानी नहीं बुझाइए. What this condition represents? Which half is copied and which half is left? So condition name is if j is greater than high.
So second array elements are copied and first.
Second array elements are copied. कौन बोल रहा है ये? Ridhima Gupta, you are absolutely right. Neha Jha, you are wrong. Your answer was incorrect. So second half elements, this condition shows that, remember, second condition if j greater than high shows that second half elements of the array they are copied and first half are left. This is why you see here condition, comparison condition, k less than equal to mid. So k you will start from h means remaining elements are first array. And k will go up maximum up to mid because first array can go maximum up to how much? First array कहाँ तक जा सकता है? Ridhima Gupta.
Sir, it starts from h and ends with mid.
Mid. And second array starts with?
Mid plus 1 and ends with j.
Yeah, so first array it ends with mid. So remaining elements of first array that is starting from h, every time h you are increasing. So remaining elements you are starting from first array, you are starting from h and you are copying it in B. So you copy AK in BI. Then increase I by 1. K by 1, K is increased by 1 here within the for loop only. So after this one, it means that few elements if of array A, if they are left, they are copied. Now, Ridhima Gupta, what are we doing here? What this for loop is doing? ये क्या कर रहा है? What this for loop is doing? Or Neha Jha, you try that because your previous answer was wrong. So what this for loop is doing?
This is printing the content after sorting.
So after sorting, the content is stored where? Where the content is stored?
B array.
After sorting, the content is stored in array B. And here, what are you doing? Here, what are you doing? You are copying the content. You are copying the content of array B after sorting, and you are printing it. Each and every element of array B, you are printing it. This is the recursive algorithm. This is the recursive algorithm of merge sort. Any confusion, Neha, in this recursive algorithm?
No, sir.
Just you tell that what different things we did in recursive algorithm of merge sort. Just आप ऐसे ही बता दीजिए, हवा बताइए.
Sir, first we took an array. Then we divided into two parts. We found the mid value. Then we iterated over the two values, which is from 0 to mid and mid plus 1 to recursively. And after that, after doing that, we merged. We merged the array, and after all these steps, if some element is left, if last element is left in some array, we took that
We
value
copied
and
it.
we took that value, and after all that we stored all the values in array B and printed it.
So this is all about merge sort algorithm using recursion. Now we are moving from merge sort algorithm to another algorithm. Its name is Quicksort. Have you heard about Quicksort?
Yes, sir.
Only Has Govind has heard about it. बाकी लोग कहाँ सुने? ये हिमांशु शेखर, have you heard about Quicksort? हिमांशु शेखर, कनिष्का कुमार.
Yes, sir.
Kanish Kumar. Quicksort. Have you heard about Quicksort?
Yes, sir.
क्या करता है ये? What it does? What it does? क्या करता है ये? जल्दी बोलिए.
Sir, properly याद नहीं सर.
Properly याद नहीं है. Quicksort का order क्या होता है?
Sir, n log n sir.
चलिए. Worst case order?
Sir, n square.
ठीक है. So
Hello, sir.
बताइए.
Hello, sir.
Tell me 6 elements. I will tell how Quicksort works.
Sir, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
1 minus 2,
3.
3 minus 4, 5, 2. These elements you need to sort. Using which approach you need to sort this algorithm? These elements?
Quicksort.
So we are discussing now how the Quicksort is Quicksort. So in Quicksort, what we do that we can take an element as a pivot. We can take an element as a pivot, and whichever element is taken as pivot, that element we will consider that element is sorted. So 3 rules we will follow here. 3 rules will follow here. So rule 1 is that the pivot element is sorted, will be considered as sorted. What is rule 1? What we said about rule 1?
The pivot element is sorted.
Yeah, this is rule 1. Now rule 2 is this is rule 2 is any element that is between two pivot elements. That is an element between two pivot elements element. This is second case. An element between two pivot elements that will be considered as sorted. This is rule 2. I said that 3 rules are there, and third rule is rule 3. Rule 3 is any element before the pivot element, it will be considered as sorted if there is no further element to the left of it.
Sir,
हाँ बोलिए.
can you please repeat the rules?
Rule 1 is the pivot element will be considered as sorted element.
Okay, sir.
Rule 2 is any element between two pivot elements will be considered as sorted element.
Okay, sir.
And rule 3 is the last element will be considered as a sorted element. Last element will be considered as a sorted element. If it is just after AFTER, after the pivot element. And last rule, that is rule 4. You see, when will you say that, like, what is last element here? Last element is 2 here. So the element 2, you will say that it is sorted if 5 you took as pivot element. If you take 5 as pivot element, then, and if 2 is the last element, then 2 will be considered as sorted if just an element before 2, if it is pivot element. And last rule will be at the place of last, I will just write first. Just 2 changes I will do. At the place of last, I will say the first element will be considered as sorted element if it is just before a pivot element. These are four rules of Quicksort. Here I said that a pivot element is considered as sorted element. These 4 rules, if you just understand these 4 rules, means you can complete this Quicksort. Any confusion to any one of you in these 4 rules?
No, sir.
No, sir.
And which element can be considered as pivot element? Any element can be considered as pivot element. Now, usually if you see your books, what they have done, that they have taken the middlemost element as the pivot element. Usually we take middlemost element as the pivot element, but that is not the rule. Any element, first element, second element, randomly selected element, can be considered as pivot element. Now in this list, which element you want to keep as pivot? आप लोगों के हिसाब से ही चलें. Which element you want to? -4.
Sir, first
चलिए,
element.
क्या
Yes, sir. First element.
First element, sir.
first element is 1.
One.
So you have taken 1 as pivot element. You have taken 1 as pivot element. Now, since you have taken 1 as pivot element, so what rule 1 says?
Pivot
One
element
is sorted.
already
That the
sorted.
pivot element is sorted.
Rule 1 say 1 is sorted. Now you start comparing. You compare 1 with -2. -2, is it more than 1 or it is less than 1?
Less than 1.
Less than 1.
Less than 1, bring that number to the left of 1. -2 will be here. What is the next number? Next number is
3.
3.
3.
3 is more than 1 or less than 1?
Greater than 1. Sir.
More than 1.
More than 1. If it is more than 1, put it to the right of 1. Next of 1. What is next number?
Minus
That
4.
you need to compare. -4. -4 is less than 1 or more than 1?
Less than.
Less than 1.
Less than 1. It means you will keep it to the left of 1. Left of 1 is -2. So you keep -4 to the left of -2. Is it clear till this time?
Yes.
Yes.
Sir.
Now next number is 5. You compare 5 with 1. 5 is more than 1 or it is less than 1?
More than 1.
More than 1.
More than 1.
So keep it to the right of 1. Right of 1, next to 1 is 3. So next to 3 you keep 5. And what is the next number to be compared?
2.
Next number left, that is uncompared, it is 2. So you take this number 2. Compare it with 1. 2 is less than 1 or more than 1?
More than 1.
More than 1.
So 2 is more than 1. So 2 will be to the next of 3, to the next of 1. And to the next of 1 is 3 and to the next of 3 is 5. So you keep this 2 to the next of 5. जहां जगह बचा है वहां स्टोर कर लीजिए. Any confusion till this time?
No, sir.
No, sir.
There is any confusion? Ask me.
No, sir.
Sure.
Yes, sir.
Now you tell that this is output after pivot. So 1 you have taken as pivot. So as per these rules, how many elements you have kept at the sorted position?
1, sir.
Which rule says that only 1 element is at sorted position?
Rule 1.
Rule 1. So rule 2 example is visible here or not? No.
Yes. It is visible.
No element is between 2 pivot elements. Rule 3 also. The first element is -4. Last element will be sorted. 2 will be sorted if 5 you have taken as pivot. 5 you have not taken as pivot. So 2 cannot be considered as sorted. -4 is the first element. This rule 4 says that first element, that is -4, will be sorted if it is just before the pivot element. -2 is not pivot. So now you may take any other element as pivot. So this time which element should I take as pivot?
-4.
किसी को भी ले लीजिए, ये आपके ऊपर है. Should we start with -4?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
क्लास क्या कर रही है?
Yes, sir.
Should we start with -4?
Oh,
Sure, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
yes, sir.
So I am taking -4 as pivot. So since you are taking -4 as pivot, so -4 you are taking as pivot, so -4 is sorted. You will, next stage you will say that -4 is sorted. So This is -4 I have taken. Now you compare to -2. -2 is less than -4 or it is more than -4?
Less than, sir.
More than -4.
Sorry, more than.
-2 is less than -4 or more than -4?
More than, sir.
More than -4.
-2 is more than -4. So no change in the position of -2. If it is more than -4 means you will keep it to the right of -4. If it is more than, keep it to the right of pivot. If it is less than, keep it to the left of pivot. -2, since it is more than in one comparison, -2 you placed. With respect to 1, will there be any comparison? Do you need to
No,
compare
sir.
1 or no comparison? Why? Your answer is correct, but
It's
why?
already sorted.
Sir, because it is
you
already
have,
sorted.
yeah, since you took it as pivot element and pivot element is self-sorted, is considered as sorted. So in one comparison, you placed, since -2 was more than -4, so -2 you placed it to the next of, to the right of -4, and it was already there, so no change. With respect to 1, no change happened because 1 you have already taken as pivot previously. You took as pivot previously. Now, which element will you compare and with whom? 3 will be compared with pivot element. And what is your pivot element here? Divya Pathak,
-4.
what is? चलिए ये
-4.
Satrupa. What is the pivot element?
-4, sir.
So you are comparing 3 with -4. And 3, is it more than -4 or it is less than -4?
More than -4.
So bring 3 to the right of, bring 3 to the right of -4. Right of -4 is -2 and right of -1 is 1. So bring 3 here. Bring 3 here. Now compare this 5 with your pivot element. 5 is +5, it is more than -4. So bring 5 to the right of -4. Right of -4 is -2 and right of -2 is 1. Right of 1 is 3 and you will keep 5 to the right of 3. And now last element 2, since 2 is more than -4. So -4, it should be kept to the right of, so 2 should be kept to the right of -4. So right of -4 is -2, right of -2 is 1, right of 1 is 3, right of 3 is 5, and right of 5 is now 2. Now tell that which elements are sorted. This is your output. After taking pivot as -4, which elements, how many elements are sorted?
3 elements.
-4, -2, and 1.
Which rule says that -2 is sorted?
Second
Sir,
rule.
rule 2.
Rule 2. If any element is between 2 pivot elements, so that will be considered as sorted. Now, which rule, Divya, which rule, which element should be taken as a pivot element?
So we can take 5.
We can take 5 as pivot element. Randomly you have selected or you have taken the middlemost element as pivot?
No, sir, randomly I took one number.
So this is pivot is now 5. So if you take pivot as 5, then you see the situation. -4 is sorted, -2 is sorted, 1 is sorted, and out of these, 1 was the pivot element and -4 was also the pivot element. -4 was also the pivot element. And now 3 elements are left. So whatever interchange will you do, it will be with respect to, so A0 is -4, A1 is -2, A2 is 1. So whatever changes you are doing, that will be with respect to A2, A3, A4. A2, A3 and A4. So here you are taking 5 as, you have taken 5 as pivot pivot element. Now, Divya, 5 will be compared with 5 is pivot now. So 5 will be compared with
So because the first three elements have already been sorted, so the two elements
5
that are
will be
left is three.
compared with
So 5.
5 को
Sorry,
किससे
so
compare करें?
2 is
जल्दी
left.
बोलिए.
So 2 is left.
5 is compared with. चलिए next से पूछ लें. चलिए हर्षवर्धन. 5 is compared with
3, sir.
5 is compared with 3. And what is situation? 5 is it less than 3 or it is more than 3?
Greater than 3, sir.
So, or you can say 3 is compared with 5. So 3, since it is less than 5, so 3 should be kept to the left of 5.
Yes, sir.
This one. Now next element to be compared with 5, it is 2. And
Since it is smaller,
2
it will
is
be
2 is smaller than 5, so 2 should be kept to the left of 5, and left of 5 is 3. So either you create a space here before 3 and you keep there, or you can create a space here and you can keep. This is 2 options with you, or it's up to you. So I am going for the worst situation. So 2 was less than 5, so 5 to left it was 3, and you kept 2 to the left of 3. You could keep 2 to the left of 3. You could do it. Now, is it sorted or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Wait करिए. आप लोगों को कुछ. Is it sorted or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All of you agree that it is sorted?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
But I will say that it is not sorted. Which rule says that it is sorted? -4 was pivot element, it is sorted. -4 was pivot element, it is sorted.
Yes, sir, it is sorted.
Yes, sir.
1 was pivot element, it is sorted.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
-2, since it is between 2 pivot elements, so it is sorted.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
How can you say that 2 and 3 they are sorted?
Because sir, they are between 1 and 5, and rule 2 says that. Okay. So
What
is
rule
it
2
applicable?
says?
So
What
that
rule 2
one
says?
element is sorted. So since there are 2 elements,
What
then
rule 2 says? ये लिखा
that
है मैंने ये
an
this
element
word,
between 2 pivot elements will be considered sorted.
this word intentionally I wrote it here.
Yes, sir.
So an element between 2. So an means how many? 1 element or 2 elements?
One element. One
Yes, sir.
element.
And how many elements are these?
2,
2.
sir.
So which rule says that these 2 are sorted? See the
So
rule
2
again,
is
rules again.
not sorted.
हाँ बोलिए. Which rule says that they are sorted?
No
2
rule,
and 3
sir.
they are sorted.
No,
It
sir. We
is
have
your
to consider another
intelligence.
pivot element.
Yes. It is your intelligence. आपके mind ने सोच लिया है 2 and 3 है. 2 है, 2 के बाद 3 आ रहा है, which is they are sorted. But if we are applying the rules, then you cannot say that they are sorted. Then you cannot say that they are sorted. It means one of them should again be taken as pivot. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So after taking another element as pivot, now either you can take 2 as pivot or you can take 3 as pivot. And then if you take 2 as pivot, then in that situation, if you take 2 as pivot, so as far as -4 is concerned, no comparison required. -2, no comparison required. 1, no comparison required. 2, since you have taken as pivot, so it will not be compared with this. Yes, 3 will be compared. 3 will be compared with 2, since 3 is more than 2, so it is placed at right position. With 5, no comparison. So now this is situation now. Now this is situation. 3 is pivot, minus 2 was pivot, minus 2 was pivot. Yeah. Now you see. Now you apply the 4 rules. Minus 4 is pivot, it is sorted. Minus 2, it is between 2 pivot elements, it is sorted. 1, it is pivot element, sorted. 2, it is pivot element, it is sorted. 3, it is an element between 2 pivot elements, it is sorted. 5, it is pivot element, it is sorted. So how many rules we set? कितने rule बताए मैंने?
4.
4 rules. If just you remember these 4 rules, means you can implement this Quicksort. This much. Any confusion in this one? जल्दी बताइए, हमको एक meeting attend करनी है.
No,
No,
sir.
sir. No, sir. Nothing.
Sure, no confusion. So
No,
no
sir.
confusion to
No
anyone.
confusion.
No, sir. No, sir.
Kanish Kumar, no confusion.
No, sir.
Nainika Anand. Mohit Raj, no confusion. Okay, so this is, and now let me download the attendance. Just wait. And I'm leaving the class after that. Yeah, I have downloaded your attendance, and thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.